Welcome, everyone. Another episode of In the Kitchen with Gracie and Amy. Earlier, I was pointing out that we're earlier because we had the same clothes on and jewelry. Earlier, we showed you how to make manigotti and homemade pasta. So now on to dessert. Who doesn't love a good dessert after a meal? So my mom has a special dessert that she has made, oh my gosh, probably all of my life. I don't know. I can't remember when she didn't make this dessert. So she is going to show us how she does and what it is.
Okay. This is called a Sicilian cassata. And I looked up everything about cassata, and there's so many interesting subjects on what cassata is, where it came from, or you have to look it up. There is so many variations of what the word means, but I was told a long time ago that a cassata was kind of a bowl. Okay.
Oh.
But when you look up the information, it's controversial there. Okay. But it's kind of a bowl. And what it was a cake. The cake was formed into the bowl and then filled. Okay.
Oh.
It's changed immense. I mean, there's so much variation. I'm just gonna not bore you with the details, and we'll go on and learning how to make it. Okay. Um, this cassata calls for ricotta. Oh, this is a no bake cake, unless you are making the sponge cake. It is because you can use angel food cake, which I will explain to you. But it basically is, you do not put this in the oven other than making the cake if you'd like to. Okay? So we'll start with the first ingredients, and then I will go on and then explain to you what I'm talking about. So we've got ricotta, and we need powdered sugar. Ah, wrong side. This is a very sweet cake. Powdered sugar. Where is it? My chocolate. I'm going to make it very tasty. You won't be able to taste it, but I'm going to. Someone special is going to get this because I could never eat this whole thing.
Don't you love? You won't be able to taste it unless you make it yourself. Okay. You could just drool from your end. Like I have to.
Yes.
Unless I go make it, I can't partake in it either.
I've got what I've done with the chocolate is it's chocolate chips, but I ground them.
Oh.
I don't like to chew into a chocolate chip. Normally, I didn't have one.
Oh.
Chocolate bar, and I shave it. I like that so much better. But for this, it's okay. But I really love, I'll put that in the notes. I love shaving a chocolate candy bar.
Nice.
Right? So we've got chocolate. And I'm going to zest an orange. I didn't have any lemons. Normally you zest a lemon, but you don't have to do lemon. You can do orange, right? So I'm zesting an orange. You always have to put some kind of a zest. I wouldn't use those oils. I don't think for this. I think the zest is the freshness of the zest is much better. So you zest the orange. For this, like I said, measurements, everything will be in the ingredient list. This is one of the tastiest cakes you're ever going to eat. Okay, I got that done. Okay. Oh, the orange.
Nice.
So what? Now I'm going to stir it. Okay, that's all you have to do with this. You're just stirring it up, getting all the sugar, the chocolate, the ricotta, just all mixed up. It's not a fancy dancy kind of a dish as far as the mixture goes. Just stir it all up. Taste it to make sure, though, you did put enough sugar and you like the sweetness of it, okay?
Yes, yes. Which is...
I'll have it in there, but you taste it.
I figured while you're stirring, I'll tell them when I was in when I was in high school, because my mom used to make this all the time when I was a kid. So when I was in high school taking Italian classes, we had an Italian club, or rather, we had an Italian festival, or no, a cultural festival. I'm sorry, cultural festival for all the language students. And we did it every year that I was in an Italian class. I took 4 years of Italian. And I remember making cassata cake one year, and it was quite, I overpowered it with the flavoring. It was delicious, but it was packed quite a punch.
You're going to have to excuse me for a moment, but I forgot one thing and I have to go and get it. And
Okay.
that's a brush to put the liquid onto the cake.
Oh, yes.
This cake is really truly a holiday cake. Or you can make it if you're having a nice dinner party.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've made it. I made it in trying to think, other than the Italian culture, I mean the cultural festival, I think I made it in college too. Yes, I did. I made it in college for I think we were getting together as friends. I don't know, can't remember exactly what we were doing, but I remember making it in college. It's easy. It's one of those easy desserts that you don't have to, like my mom said, you don't have to bake. You don't have to turn your oven on. You don't have to heat your house up.
Nope.
And you can always find the ingredients.
Yes, yes, you can. Okay, I have that. All right, so I now have my ricotta all mixed up. Like I said, I made a sponge cake, okay? But you don't have to.
Right.
You can buy an angel food cake.
So yeah, you would, if you bought an angel food cake, you would cut it into slices, and then you would need to use either a springform pan, or actually when I was a kid, my mom would use a saucepan. She'd use a saucepan.
Okay.
Which I thought was funny because she's not cooking it.
Well, that's how I
Right.
was shown.
Yes.
My wonderful sponge cake. Okay?
Yes. But you started making the sponge cake for your business, right? When you started.
Yes. Because it was easier, because I had everything right there. So I started doing it with my business. So this is the first layer of the sponge cake. And what you have to do with the sponge cake is you have to soak it.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. This cake is soaked with alcohol.
Right.
That is the part that is that gives the cake the oomph. Okay?
Yeah.
Is alcohol. But you don't have to use alcohol. Okay?
No. Although I highly recommend it.
Yes, highly.
Highly recommend the alcohol.
If you don't use alcohol, okay, then you can make a simple syrup, and you could cut your orange in half, and you could squeeze the juice and put it into simple syrup. Orange, lemon, okay? Also, which I'm going to do today, is you can buy a flavoring, okay? And like any kind, like almond flavor
Mhm.
or lemon. I don't know what other flavors are other than the orange and the lemon. And you could add that to the simple syrup.
Mhm.
Okay. If you're using alcohol, it's straight.
Yes.
You're gonna straight. Okay. And you're gonna spread it and soak it into the cake. That's if you're using alcohol. Okay. But if you're using this, um, you mix it with the simple syrup. You can't put this flavoring straight on there.
No,
No way.
no.
You
That'd
gotta
be too,
mix the
too
syrup.
powerful. Way too
Oh
powerful.
yeah, it would taste horrible. No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, because if yeah, yeah. But we were talking about this. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Mom. Go ahead.
That's what, no, go ahead.
We were talking about this a couple days ago. We were talking about what other types of alcohol, because when I was when Mom used to make this, when I was a kid, she'd used rum. But I was saying, oh gosh, wouldn't it be nice with like limoncello? You know,
Oh,
oh, it'd be so delicious.
lemon.
Or orangecello, limoncello, orangecello, orangecello. So all those, citrusy type alcohols. I think that would be a fun thing to do.
Oh, this is gonna be so delicious.
Which one are you using? I can't remember
I'm
what you
using
said.
a rum flavor.
The rum flavoring.
Oh my god. Okay, so here we go. You have to do each one. You have to soak each layer. So
Hmm.
I've got my handy dandy brush.
Hmm.
I've got my simple syrup with the rum all mixed into it. And I'm going to just, can you see this?
Yep, brushing it out. Yeah, no, we can see it.
Brushing it
Brushing it in.
all over the cake. Okay? Really soak it. Really, really soak it. Don't be what do you call it? Sparse.
Shy. Or don't be sparse.
Yeah.
Just
Really,
really soak.
and even with alcohol, don't use less because it won't taste as good.
However, I must say though, with an angel food cake, because angel food cake is so much lighter than a sponge cake, like
Yes.
it's got the really, really light.
Who is
I
it?
don't.
Okay, Pauline, thank you.
That was funny. That was hysterical. This is what happens when you cook at home.
Yes.
You never know who's going to stop by.
You never know. That's
So
right.
I was going to say that.
That's why this is in the kitchen with
Right. Exactly. With the sponge cake, I think you could get away with putting a lot more alcohol. I don't know about the angel food cake, because that's what happened to me when I was a kid. When I was in an Italian class and I made this for the cultural exchange, I put way too much rum in the angel food cake, so it was like, whoo. So if you're gonna, so I personally love the sponge cake over the angel food cake. I love the sponge cake with the ricotta for the cassata, because it just tastes so much better. But I think that sponge cake can handle the alcohol. I think I think it can handle it because it's a little bit more dense than the angel food cake. So that's my personal opinion. But hey, if you like the alcohol flavoring, pour it on.
Yes, exactly. If you like it, pour it on. I'm now spreading a layer of the ricotta mixture that I mixed earlier. Okay. I'm spreading that all around. Okay.
Yes.
Now I gotta get my second layer. I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to soak it with the mixture of the rum and the sugar.
And making your own sponge cake is actually it's not really hard. I mean, it's actually a pretty easy thing.
I use a recipe.
Yeah.
I just went online, and well, I have a book, and it's by a author called Nick Malgeri, and I had bought this long time ago, and I use his sponge cake recipe. It's called in Italian pan di Spagna.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. And I use his, and I've always had success with his. But online, there's many. There's all you wouldn't have any trouble just finding a
Right.
sponge cake recipe. Okay, got that. My next layer. I'm only going to have 2 layers on here. Okay, I mean of the ricotta.
Right. Are you going to tell the story about your priest friend later after you're done?
Yes.
Okay. Because that's a great story.
Yes. So I'm spreading this all over. Okay. Now, normally, well, the way I learned was, okay, you used ricotta for everything, the top, the bottom, everything. You did not use anything else to frost the cake, okay? But I love whipped cream, so I use whipped cream to frost the cake. And this is the last layer. And I have to put the simple syrup on here. Like I said, really soak it. Really soak the top. And the bottom. The middle layer, you don't have to do too much, but soak the top and the bottom so you get a wonderful taste of either your alcohol, or so you can use rum, you can use whiskey, you can use amaretto, you can use limoncello, you can use a hazelnut liqueur.
Right.
There's a lot of them that you can use to your liking. You can use
Yeah.
an orange liqueur,
Mm-hmm.
as long as it's alcohol.
Yeah. Or, simple syrup. So it's
Or the simple syrup, and use your different flavorings when you make the syrup.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of variety that you can do with this cake. That's why I love it so much, because you could do pretty much any flavoring that you want.
And what's nice, it's a no bake.
Yeah.
I mean, really, truly a no bake if you use angel food cake. And we'll make instructions in the ingredients how to do it with angel food cake. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go around, give every edge. This cake also, I have to tell you, okay, I did that. Okay, now I'm going to cover it with the frosting. Before I do that, though, I want to get all my sprinkles ready so that I can decorate it. This cake is made in Italy, especially in Sicily, near Palermo, or in Palermo, and Castellamare, where my father is from. They make this cake with these glaced fruits. Okay?
Oh.
They're dried and glazed fruits. You go online and you look up cassata, and you will see the beautiful cakes that are made with this cassata cake, with the glacé fruits. They're gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. 1 year, and they also make it with, you can cover this not with whipped cream, cover this with a marzipan dough.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be made with, it has almond paste and corn syrup. I've done it before. It is delicious.
Yeah.
Delicious. If you're really adventurous, I highly recommend finding the recipe for the marzipan dough and making it. Oh, it's so good.
She made it for
A contest.
kind of taste of reading contest. And it was just, oh my gosh, she made a huge cake, big cake, and then made it look like a book, like a children's book.
Right.
And covered it up with the marzipan dough. It was it was so good.
And I was told that I was tied for first place. But they only could have one winner. So the other person won. Probably the numbers, I don't know how they did it. But everybody loved it. They loved the cake. Like that. And this cake does not have to be fancy dancy unless you want to make it that way.
Right. I mean, you could go really fancy. You could.
So this friend of mine came over for dinner, and I made this cake, right? And he had never had it. Never had this cake, didn't even know what the heck this cake was. So we served the cake after dinner. We had a very nice dinner. We served the cake after dinner. And I think his eyes popped out of his head. I have never tasted a cake like this. Where did you get this recipe? So I explained it to him. He goes, I'm having a second piece. I think maybe a third.
It was funny.
And he's not a big cake eater either. Or a big dessert eater, but he loved this cake. Okay, I'm not going to go crazy with this. Okay. So, can you see the finished cake?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So that's the cake. So normally, okay, there's so many things you can do with this. You could get chocolate, melt it, put it in a piping tube, and pipe decorations on it. You can use maraschino cherries, cut them in half, make a beautiful design. Sky's the limit on it. But today, because I don't have all I didn't buy them, to be honest with you. I didn't go when I go to the store and buy them, but I have some pretty sprinkles, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sprinkle on here, okay? And I'm going to try to make a pretty looking Christmas kind of a cake.
Oh, that looks cute, Mom.
I think sprinkles are nice.
That looks cute.
I'll get my little bit of chocolate. You gotta always have chocolate. Well, the cassata doesn't really have chocolate on the decoration, but who cares?
There was one time you shaved the chocolate on top.
Oh, I did. I did all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very nice.
You could put stuff around the side. You could do many things with this cassata cake. So,
yes. Beautiful.
If you want to take a picture of that, Amy.
I'll do it after. I'll do it.
Oh, okay. So this is your cassata cake. I think I've given you all the information about this cake.
Yes.
Like I said, we'll have in-depth instruction and the recipes
Yep.
to really know how to make this cake. But I think you will find that is absolutely delicious. Oh, you do have to take this cake now, put it in the fridge
Mm-hmm.
because you want all that to soak,
Yep.
get everything nice and together. What'll happen, it'll soften up the sponge cake.
Yes.
And then when you cut it, I don't want to cut it now.
Right, right.
When you cut it, you'll have a beautiful inside of the cake.
Yes.
And it will be really nice to eat. Okay?
Exactly.
So that is our dessert, our holiday dessert. I want to tell you that Amy and I, during this month, are going to try to do holiday baking and cooking that my parents did. Okay. Or someone in the family, or somewhere along the line in the family, they made all of these recipes that we're trying to do during this Christmas season.
Exactly. Share with you our Christmas time as we grew up, as my mom grew up, as I grew up.
Right.
So, until we see you again, buon appetito.
Arrivederci.